The members of UVM's Dairy Challenge team are cow crazy, farm savvy, and just back from North Dakota, where they competed on teams helping farmers assess and improve their operations. How'd they do? We're finding out today on Across the Fence. Hello, Vermont. According to Dr. Stephen Wadsworth, who coaches the UVM Dairy Challenge team, teaches dairy health management, and has been the advisor for UVM's cream program since 2018, if you know how to manage one cow, then managing 4,000 cows is just managing one cow 4,000 times a day. The biology doesn't change, it's just an order of magnitude different. A pretty big order of magnitude, as every dairy farmer knows, but UVM students on the Dairy Challenge team embrace that, well, challenge. Back in April, 8 team members traveled to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, my mistake, in my opener I said North Dakota, to compete against students from 42 other universities in the 24th annual National Dairy Challenge Contest. 2 of those team members join me today. Abby House is the president of the UVM Dairy Challenge Club and a senior majoring in animal science. Skyy Wooster is a sophomore animal science major and, full disclosure, my daughter Scarlett's roommate. See? Vermont dairy is a family affair even when you are talking about students. So Skyy and Abby, it's so nice to have you guys here today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so Abby, tell us a little about the Dairy Challenge Club. How long have you been involved?
Yeah, so I have been involved for about 2 years now. I started my first semester of my sophomore year, and the Dairy Challenge Club is a group of students that, of course, love cows, and we meet every week, talk about different aspects of the dairy industry, and then 2 times a year we go and compete and meet a lot of other people in the dairy industry, evaluate farms, present our findings, and have an amazing time while we do it.
Pretty cool. And so Dairy Challenge, it is a competition. We're going to talk about the competition, but it's also a mission, right? It's aimed at cultivating the next generation of dairy leaders. Skyy, what made you want to compete?
Originally, I was kind of coerced into the club by a couple of my friends who wanted me to join. And then I went to my first Dairy Challenge
I love thinking about what the pressures are like on dairy students.
Yes.
Sorry, I mean, it's so cute imagining you being coerced into doing Dairy Challenge. Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, and then once I did my first Dairy Challenge, the amount of information I took from that first Dairy Challenge kept me coming back. You learn so much within that short period of time. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the level of competition, everything that you are called upon to do is really intense in a very short time frame. Is it also fun?
Yeah,
so much fun.
So much fun.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, like, what's it like when you are there? Like, what was it like being in South Dakota?
I had never been to South Dakota before, and I had no idea what to expect in the first place, but it was a lot of fun. They had a lot of stuff for us to do, surprisingly.
And there's hundreds of students from all over the country.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So what kinds of things did you get to do? Like activities, what other things are there engaging your time?
Yeah, well, we arrived to Sioux Falls a little bit early, so we actually were able to go to a professional bull riding competition. That was right before. That was so much fun. We also went to the local Dairy Queen. We played in the hotel pool with like a bunch of other people that were there, and it was just a cool way to meet people, get to know people, in a low stress environment compared to the competition itself. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now let's talk about the actual stressful part, right? So how does Dairy Challenge work? There's regional competitions, and then there's also the national competition, right? Okay. Are they the same? Are they different?
There are slight differences between them. The regional competition, generally, everyone who goes is split up into different teams with students from other colleges. Whereas the national competition, you do have some team members who get split up, but then you have a group of 4 who represent your college, and they go as a group. So that's pretty cool.
So the team of 8 that came from UVM, 4 of you stayed together and were like the UVM competition team, and then the other 4 were split onto different teams with other students.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Okay, so day 1, you get to Sioux Falls. What happens? What's the first part of the challenge like?
Yes, so day 1, we arrive and we meet with everyone that is there, and it's crazy to see the hundreds of students all in that one space, which is crazy. And then pretty quickly we receive a big binder of all the farm's information. So their nutrition data, their reproduction data, their milk graphs, and all of that sort of information.
Because you're being sent to one farm specifically.
Yes.
What was the farm that you went to?
I went to Moody Dairy.
Okay.
Yes.
And then I went to Bodewine Farms.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you get the binder. It's got all of the information. And what are you supposed to do with all that?
Yeah, pretty overwhelming at first, to be totally honest, but when we get that information, we look for a few pretty specific sort of benchmarks that we have in the back of our head that we know maybe if we see it's lower or higher, then we can sort of flag that and then move forward knowing, okay, maybe that's something that we can use as an opportunity and present on later in the competition.
Okay, so you're looking at your herd data and you're kind of assessing and analyzing all the information that you're seeing there and thinking about how this is going to become recommendations for, say, operational changes, or what? Okay, well, here, I'm getting ahead of myself because then you do go to the farm. You don't have to only work out of the binders, right?
Yes.
Okay, so, and you only have a couple of hours on the farm?
We generally have about 2 hours on the farm. When we get there, we all have a little meeting. We meet the farmers, which is really nice, get in contact with them. And then we kind of go around to all of the things that we flagged previously and take a look at them and see how we could improve whatever they're doing and create opportunities to help the farmer.
So what was something that you saw, for example, on your farm?
Let's see here. One of the biggest things in dairy is like making sure you're on time with like milking your cows. And the dairy we went to was very good with a lot of the things that they were doing. And then so just there are different ways to do everything. So weighing the different options of which would improve the farm the most is like kind of the main goal.
And I know that the dairy farms, for example, like they get a big questionnaire ahead of time that is assessing things like what kind of systems they have in place, what kind of labor they have in place, right? So that's all of the information that you're working with. And so then finally you present analysis, right? How did that go? Who do you present to?
Yeah, great question. We present to a panel of judges, and usually there are 5 of them, and they are each professionals in their respective departments. So we have a nutritionist, a reproduction professional, a veterinarian, a finance person, and a herd manager or farmer. And it is a little bit intimidating, but it's really comforting to know that they just want you to do well, they want to support you, and it went really well. I think it's really great practice for, public speaking and that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I can imagine that it would be. And I would think that being in front of this, group of professionals, that's where the rubber meets the road. Now you have to stand up. But so you said intimidating, but also kind of confidence building?
Absolutely, absolutely. They give you really nice feedback afterwards, so that's usually really helpful.
Yeah. And in the end, how did UVM do? So we had our UVM team, and then we also had UVM competitors. So how did everyone do?
I think everyone did really well. Our team did really well. And then we actually had 2 students from who got split up into the different groups, and their groups actually both took first. So that was really cool to see.
That's fun. Yeah. Yeah, which is maybe a neat thing about nationals versus regionals, right? Is you get a chance to have your school team compete, but then you still get that experience of being mixed out onto other teams, and so you're never quite certain how the outcome is going to come. But winning is probably not really the point of the competition in any case. What were your big takeaways from the entire experience? Yeah,
I would say that my biggest takeaway would be how progressive this industry is in the moment, and it's really, really cool to see the way that different farms do things and the strides that they're making to improve themselves and just always work to, grow and improve, and I think that's really inspiring to see on such a large scale. How does competing in Dairy Challenge compare to learning in a classroom?
Learning in a classroom, you're definitely kind of contained. And when you get out there in Dairy Challenge specifically, you get all of this communication with real world issues and real world problems that people are going through. And you get to see how the farm is working on a day-to-day basis. And being able to see that and then put that into your learning, it's really cool.
Yeah, no, I can imagine it would be. I always thought that one of the most interesting things about, for example, the animal science program at UVM, though, is there are so many hands-on immersive experiences. There's a barn, you have a herd of cattle, so that, you know, the dairy cows, it's a chance that there's lots of time where you are getting to put your learning into practice. But Dairy Challenge sounds like now it's taking it to an entirely different level, because you're really talking about like true on-farm management, not just like the 100 cows in the cream program, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, there we go. We can put Dr. W's adage into place about 1 cow 4,000 times. So you've both been in cream, right?
Yes.
How would you say it compares to, or how did it prepare you for doing Dairy Challenge Club?
Definitely. I had no dairy experience before coming to UVM, so everything that I sort of learned leading up to going to a Dairy Challenge competition came from cream and came from a few of the meetings of Dairy Challenge that I went to. And cream is such an amazing experience and a great way to get sort of introduced into the dairy industry, because you're surrounded by a lot of people your age and who also don't have a whole lot of dairy experience. So cream is a very immersive experience where you get really prepared.
You're getting ready to graduate. What's coming next for you?
Yes, I will be going to vet school, hopefully. I'm currently applying, and I really want to be a large animal dairy veterinarian.
So here you go. So this is exactly what we're talking about. This is how the industry continues to cultivate the next generation of dairy talent. If you want to learn more about Dairy Challenge, check out their website. The info is on your screen there. For the record, they're always looking for sponsors and volunteers, including regional mentors. Maybe that's you. Abby House and Skyy Wooster, thank you both so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
It's been very fun. And as always, thank you, Vermont, for learning and exploring with me today. And thanks to the team that makes Across the Fence possible. I'm Amy Finley. This is Across the Fence. Come back and let's learn and explore again tomorrow.